You're looking at the best there
Austin
is.
316.
What do you guys want to talk about?
I have a lot of things I want to get off my chest. I'm the best. I'm the best in the world.
Let me talk to you. Yeah.
You will rest in peace.
Welcome back to episode 4 of the Source WWE AEW All Things Wrestling podcast with Joe
And
Mike. Yeah.
Yeah.
On episode 4, we are going to be covering AEW Collision from 2/10/2024 and WWE Monday Night Raw from 2/12/2024. Opening match of the night, Blackpool Combat Club versus some CMLL. You got Star Jr. and Esfinge. Sorry if I botched that name, but I am not a Mexican wrestling watcher.
And I don't really know what's going on. Maybe you know more than I do because, when it comes to AEW...
It all started in the crowd.
Joe is definitely more well-versed than I am in AEW. I watch religiously, but he's been watching it longer. But what is the deal with these masked wrestlers? Where they come from? What's the background behind it? I don't know what's going on.
This is Tony Khan, once again, with his Forbidden Door type stuff, like where he brings in New Japan, and you get guys like Takeshita and guys like that. And then he brings in the CMLL. It's just basically saying anybody can work in AEW, you know what I mean? So CMLL showed up, and they're going right against the Blackpool Combat Club because they're like the faction to beat. And unfortunately, on Saturday night, it was just not the night for BCC to be defeated. Once again, they pick up a win. You got Claudio busting out the giant swing, always gets a pop from the crowd. Moxley's punting people, and then eventually goes to that armbar, which I've been talking about the last few weeks. He goes back to that armbar and, submits his opponent. BCC gets the 1, 2, 3, or the submission, rather.
And Joe, you're going to have to elaborate on this a little more, but BCC, Blackpool Combat Club,
Yeah.
BBCC, whatever it is.
The BCC.
What a pairing of wrestlers.
It is unbelievable. You got
Bryan
guys.
Danielson.
Yep.
You got Claudio Castagnoli.
Yes, better known as Cesaro in his WWE days. And then you can't forget about Jon Moxley.
Oh, such a prize these days. Such a treat to watch.
He is the bleeder.
I feel like he's really, it's a 180 from what he used to
100%.
look like,
Yeah, that whole
I mean?
lunatic fringe, Dean Ambrose angle wasn't it for him, and he's made it very vocal on Jericho's podcast when he left the company about how he hated everything Vince McMahon told him to do.
This is a lot more, I feel like, natural for him. It feels like more
it's
MMA
him.
style feel to
Yeah,
him.
it's just,
Know what I mean?
he's always been a brawler, but this is like his most brawler persona for sure.
I like it.
Match number 2 of the night, Daniel Garcia versus Shane Taylor. The match starts. We got some locking up back and forth. Also, you got Daniel Garcia working that leg. He's trying to work that ankle, set up for that ankle lock. Taylor's going for the welcome to the land. Garcia counters it, goes low with a drop kick. Garcia slaps the ankle lock on. Taylor taps out. Your winner, Daniel Garcia. We then pan to Eddie Kingston and Lexi Nair. Kingston is saying that Danielson's finally gotten under his skin, and he decides he's challenging him to a match at Full Gear. Next up, we have a handicap match. It is Brian Cage versus the Outrunners. And now you'd think, since it's a handicap match, they would be a pretty good shot the Outrunners would win this match. That was not the case. Brian Cage hits the powerbomb to Turbo, and then a standing cloverleaf. Floyd taps out. Your winner, by submission, Brian Cage. After the match, Brian Cage knocks out Chance, the Vegas Golden Knights mascot. Out of nowhere, here comes Hook. Both guys are beating on each other up and down the ramp. Fight spilling to the back. Referees are trying to break it up and very, very unsuccessful. Next up, we have Adam Copeland. He's out there with Tony Schiavone. Tony Schiavone's letting Edge know and the crowd know that he's the number 3 ranked competitor for either the international or the TNT title. And I think we obviously know which one he's going to go for. Christian is holding that TNT title right now. He does mention that he does want to wrestle Orange Cassidy. Also Eddie Kingston as well. But I think we might know which way he's going to lean towards.
Yeah, I think it's obvious that he wants to finish that story.
Yes, absolutely. got to get that belt off of Christian, even though he had it off him for 2 seconds, and that all went south. Thanks a lot, Kill Switch. Match number 4 of the night, we have House of Black's Brody King with Julia Hart versus Mark Briscoe. Now, there's a point in this match where Julia Hart has like a spike on her hand. All right, she's getting involved in the match, and she then hits Mark Briscoe with this spike. All right, so you would assume there would be like one laceration from this hit. All right, the camera turns after he gets hit with it. Mark Briscoe comes back up looking like he got slashed by Wolverine, bro. Like, it looked like a really bad blade job, kind of concerning. AEW, what's going on? Tony Khan, are you involved? Mark Briscoe ends up hitting the Froggy Bow. Another distraction provided by Julia Hart, though, ends up with Mark Briscoe getting thrown off the top into the floor, through a table. Brody King capitalizes, hits that Gonzo bomb inside the ring. 1, 2, 3. Brody King's your winner. Match number 5 of the night, Deonna Purrazzo. Big fan over here, right, Mike? Big fan of Deonna Purrazzo?
No. Honestly, she's
not doing it.
Unimpressive to me, and I'll say that on every podcast, every episode we talk about her, that she just doesn't do it for me, and I feel like we all know Toni Storm is where it's at.
Yeah. So we have Deonna Purrazzo versus Kiera Hogan, 5th match of the night. And while Hogan did put up a decent battle, Deonna Purrazzo ends up taking the victory with the Venus de Milo. Let's just hope that someone's going to put an end to her soon. Next match of the night, match number 6, we have timeless Toni Storm versus Queen Aminata. And we can tell that Aminata's getting better in the ring. She's not looking as green as she was, so props to her. But this is timeless Toni Storm we're talking about. She ain't playing around. She sticks a pile driver. She wins this match. All right, Collision fans, it's the moment we've all awaited. It's the main event, match number 7 of the night for the AEW International Championship.
Let's go.
Freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy versus Tomohiro Ishii. And this match was an epic one. It was definitely a title fight. You could tell that Ishii really wanted to take home that International Championship, but Mr. Hands in Pockets just was not having it. And when you talk about 5-star matches, I know this is not the Dave Meltzer show, this is not the Wrestling Observer, but this was up there, man. These guys fought hard for this championship. Ishii came close, but at the end of the day, Orange Cassidy ended up avoiding quite a brain buster and hitting a roll-up pin 1, 2, 3 from wherever, weighing whatever, still international champion Orange Cassidy.
And we like that. He's doing good. They need to keep him riding high.
100%. Homegrown talent. Keep pushing him. After the match, you get your celebration from Orange Cassidy, and the Undisputed Kingdom hit. They hit the ring. They're coming out of nowhere. They spike pile drive Orange Cassidy. Ishii then comes back to the ring to try to make the save. Where does this storyline go? It could go many different ways, but we'll just have to tune in and find out. This is going to wrap up the AEW Collision portion of the show. We now move on to WWE Monday Night Raw 2/12/2024.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Now it's time for the Raw segment of our podcast. We had a lot of qualifying matches for the Elimination Chamber in this one, and
It
we
was
can't
a good
wait
one.
to break it down. Break it down.
So to start off the show, we usually start with like some big, heavy promo, something like that. Ends up starting off with action. Right away, we have a tag team match. It's Imperium with Gunther, the whole shebang, versus the New Day, and main event, Jey Uso.
What a match to start it off.
Absolutely.
And it perfectly starts setting up Jey Uso versus Gunther for
right,
him to win the title.
For that strap, man. And, we're hoping for that. I want to see, I said in an earlier episode that it would be hard for me to see Gunther lose the title. But I am ready for him to move on if Jey Uso is going to be the one to do it. Many near falls in this match. There were times where I wasn't sure, exactly who was going to win, especially with Imperium being as dominant as they are.
There was a great moment in this match where everybody fought all around, and it ended up being Jey Uso super kicking one member of Imperium, super kicking another member of Imperium.
Many super kicks were
and then
thrown.
all of a sudden it was Jey Uso
with that
and
splash.
Gunther alone together in the ring in that moment where they did the face-to-face, and then all of a sudden, Gunther
Popping.
Lands his lariat.
A big one, too, at that.
Jay gets the kick out, and then Jay lands a big move on Gunther, and Gunther kicks out, and you're like, wow, and, he has the look of disbelief that you see on those, wrestlers when somebody kicks out on a big move.
Big move, should be done with, should be finished, but the match continues on.
Gunther tries with a big jump off the top rope.
Big splash,
the
knees signature,
Jey Uso come up.
And that basically takes Gunther out of the equation for a minute, where then the New Day and Jey Uso hit a 3-man 1D on Imperium, which gives Jey Uso the opportunity to hit that top rope, hit that big Uso splash for the 1, 2, 3. Your winners, main event Jey Uso and the New Day. After the match, we get to see a little bit of recap on that WrestleMania press conference, but we already covered that. You already know what happened there. Back from commercial, we get Andrade El Idolo backstage and a little vignette on basically where he's been, where he's at now. He said he had to leave the WWE to find out exactly who he was, from being NXT champion to United States champion, but those titles were not enough to keep him there, and he's back to win more gold.
Next up is Bobby Lashley versus Big Bad Bronson Reed in the Battle of the Brutes, the Battle of the Gargantuans, or I don't know what you want to call it.
Yo, you like meat? It's meaty men slapping meat.
It's what's for dinner.
There are power moves being exchanged back and forth. Spine busters, sentons. Big Bronson Reed goes up top, tries to hit that big tsunami to end it all. Bobby Lashley cuts him off on his way up. Body slams him down, setting him up for that notorious spear. Your winner and qualifying for the Elimination Chamber is Bobby Lashley. Next segment of the night, which in my opinion was one of the best or maybe the best. Out comes the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. Crowd's loving him. He's hugging kids. He's signing autographs. He's super babyface, really the next John Cena or Hulk Hogan of this generation. I'll put that stamp on it. So he grabs a microphone. He asks everyone what they want to talk about, and it's obvious. We all know what we want to talk about. We want to talk about the WrestleMania main event, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, rematch, 1 year in the making for the Undisputed Championship.
Yeah.
He's mentioning The Rock, calling all of his beloved fans Cody Crybabies, and he's not a big fan of that. Are we Cody Crybabies? Do you think we're Cody Crybabies?
Absolutely not.
Enter Seth freaking Rollins. He comes out, crowd is popping for him, they're singing his song. When everything calms down, he grabs the mic as well, and he's saying, listen, Cody, I understand. I respect your decision. I know why you chose Roman. You have to finish the story. But he does mention that if he wants to take out Roman and The Rock, that he knows just the guy. It just so happens that this guy is an architect.
A visionary.
A revolutionary. It can only be Seth Rollins. Now, that sets the stage for a potential tag team match.
And that's going to happen. I think it's been obvious, but if you haven't put that together, I don't know what
they're
to tell
going
you.
for that.
But there's going to be a match, and there's going to be a Rock Roman versus Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes matchup, and that's just a matter of time. And honestly, I think we're going to find out real soon when that's going to happen.
Right. Seth Rollins tells Cody Rhodes, think about it. Just give it some thought. I don't need an answer now. Just think about it. And if I was Cody Rhodes, I'd hop all over that train 100%.
And it could set up for a little bit of a faction because, I don't know, I'm deep diving right now and I go into my little theories and stuff, but I do feel like, if Cody's going to become a champion, what we're forgetting is Cody's going to need a faction.
Right.
Most champions, have a faction or something going on.
They're not riding solo. They got some kind of entourage with them, for sure.
So if we had... Think about this, and this is very far-fetched, but it's fun to explore and talk about this stuff. What if we had a faction that was the Bloodline, which is obviously, we got the Wise Man.
Yes,
we
have the Wise Man.
The Rock now.
The Rock.
Who's now Roman. The High Chief.
Yes.
We have Roman Reigns, who's the Tribal Chief. We have Jimmy Uso. We have Solo, the Bloodline, right?
Right.
But then what if Cody had his faction called, let's say, the Resistance, right?
And it could work.
And they had Triple H on the team. They had Jey Uso on the team. They had Randy Orton on the team and Seth Rollins.
That makes things really, really interesting. And maybe if they had, Paul Triple H Levesque, backing them, and making all the power moves backstage.
Well, they had the Bloodline has the Wise Man, so they can have Triple H.
Right, he's like the Wise Man times 10.
He might be taking more of that kind of role because I think his job's changing a little bit. And I think he might be making more appearances. They might be saying, we need you more on TV. It's going to draw more viewers in.
Definitely. It's the road to WrestleMania. So, he's got to be active. He's got to be out there, and he has been. Super pumped segment. We're all here for it. We then pan to backstage. The New Day and Jey Uso are getting interviewed off the big win against Imperium. Jay's talking about getting a title shot against Gunther, saying that he could be the guy to end this historic Intercontinental reign.
And I've been predicting it for a little bit now, so
you
I
really
hope it comes true. That's the final part of my little prediction. Sure, I predicted that they have a rivalry and and Jey Uso would get his title shot.
But can he win?
But can he make me right?
And that's not a prediction. It's a spoiler.
Yep.
We now have another Elimination Chamber qualifying match. It's Zoe Stark versus, watch her, Liv Morgan. And the thing here is, we kind of all know who's winning this match. Liv Morgan just came back. She had an awesome Royal Rumble return. She said she's coming for revenge for Rhea Ripley. She's winning this match. What do you say?
They got to give her a little boost, you know what I mean? And Zoe Stark is a perfect opponent. It kind of was a nice matchup.
It was.
Back and forth, honestly. Liv Morgan, for the first, half of the matchup, was beating the crap out of her. Then Zoe Stark came back. She started to hit some moves, this and that. But at the end, you knew what was going to happen. You knew what was going to happen in this matchup.
Liz hits the Oblivion. 1, 2, 3. Game over for Zoe Stark. Liv Morgan now qualifies for the Elimination Chamber. One step closer to Rhea Ripley. Now we're backstage. We got Judgment Day. It's JD McDonough. It's R-Truth. It's Damian Priest. They're walking around back there and trying to drill into Truth's head that he is not in the Judgment Day, even though we all want him to be.
Poor Truth.
Yeah, Truth should be protected right now. He's literally...
At all costs.
At all costs. He's literally gold. But JD, Damian Priest, no one's having it. They said it's been a fun run, but tonight is the execution of R-Truth.
Then we cut to a promo backstage, and it's R-Truth, and he looks frantic. Adam Pearce is back there trying to egg him on to get out stage. It's time to go.
It's time for
your
match.
But R-Truth is trying to make a phone call.
And
he's
who else
trying to make a
but
phone
The
call
Miz.
To The Miz.
He's like, guys... you were right, Miz. These guys are insane. They are about to kill me. I know you're in Cleveland probably, but please get down here right now. He then finally makes it out of the gorilla position after Adam Pearce is screaming at him to get out there. His music's already playing. He's late. He comes out, phone in hand, and, we get ready for the match.
R-Truth pretty much dominated this match.
He really did.
It wasn't really till the end that JD McDonough got pretty much lucky at the very end and hit... It was very quick, his move. He grabs the arm, swings him around.
I think it's the devil inside for the 1, 2, 3. He pins R-Truth. Is this story over with R-Truth in the Judgment Day?
I think it's just beginning. I think this opens up R-Truth and Miz to reunite formally the next Raw. And... Awesome Truth's back together. They can challenge Judgment Day for the titles.
They can make a run
at WrestleMania. Now, I have this weird theory that I was talking about the other day with you, where I think maybe they might be stripping the Judgment Day of their titles,
kind of like a reality check.
Rhea Ripley to give Becky one last run, and then
she might not have much left.
Damian Priest cashes in, wins the title, and then all of a sudden he wants to be the leader because he's the champ. I don't know, just a little theory.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with it, and as long as he doesn't cash in on fucking Cody, then we're good.
It'll be on the other championship, the World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah, say McIntyre wins to give Seth his time, with his injury and whatnot.
Most
Priest
of all,
comes out right there, cashes in.
I just don't think it's believable to see Damian Priest with that WWE Championship. I think it's more believable to see him with the World Heavyweight Championship. Honestly.
Yeah, I mean the title's still new, but it's got a lot of credibility. And can Damian Priest cash in and elevate it even more? Match is well over. R-Truth is still getting absolutely annihilated out there to the point where you're just kind of waiting for somebody to come out and help him out. It ends up being DIY, which he later called DX in a backstage promo.
Which is hilarious.
That was great.
Honestly, them coming out just as signals that there might be a 4-way match coming up. There might be all members of Judgment Day versus DIY, R-Truth, and The Miz. So I hope that happens. That'd be really cool.
It definitely would be interesting interesting to see where they can take that rivalry. We then go backstage to Sami Zayn getting rolled up on by Cody, and he's like, thanks for having my back. After all this time, I'll continue to have yours. The fans believe in you. I know you've been losing a lot lately, but you're better than this. You know what I mean?
It was a nice moment.
It was. And, hopefully that's enough juice for Sammy to get back to his old ways, because he was over. And now he's kind of on that slippery slope,
Yeah, they were chanting his song just like Rollins,
Big time. Speaking of big time, it's big time Becky Lynch. She's coming out to the ring, looking kind of concerned, and she's going on a promo about, all the blood, sweat, and tears she's put into the wrestling business, how many birthdays she's missed, people growing up, family events, get-togethers, all that stuff, but she loves the business so much that's why she continues to do this, and she still wants to be the best. She explained she was the first woman to main event WrestleMania, and that's still huge today. She is then warning Rhea Ripley that she's only got a few weeks left with the championship. Like, she's confident she's going to beat Rhea and, be your new women's champion.
Enter Nia Jax.
Ooh, and it's not looking good.
She says to Becky, hey, I respect you. I want to come in and talk to you. I want to come tell you something.
Which
she
is
lets
shocking.
her in the ring. She lets her in the ring. She comes in, coy, calm, kind of reserved, talking all good things about Becky and how she's such a good mother, and if she was her mother, she would have had it better, and all this kind of stuff.
And if she becomes, if she becomes a mom one day, that she's going to use Becky as an example for how good of a mom, to be to her own child. Then follows up with saying,
well, runs it on for a good amount of time. That's the thing. Is she runs this going? She has this going
you start
for a little
thinking,
bit.
well, what's going on with Nia Jax?
You can tell that something is going to turn.
Something's up, and it eventually turns into saying, you know what, I'm going to beat Rhea Ripley in Perth, in her own hometown, at the Elimination Chamber. Lo and behold, out comes Women's World Heavyweight Champion, Rhea Bloody Ripley.
And you can tell she's got her sights set on Nia Jax. She goes right
surely
forward.
does.
And actually, they start brawling it out, and Becky is in the corner, and she's sipping on a drink and just enjoying the show.
Just
It's kind
sipping
of
her
funny.
tea.
But eventually, they go into Becky, and they pin her in the corner with the drink, and it spills everywhere.
Yeah, super embarrassing.
But at the end of the day, Becky Lynch with the drop kick, missile kick.
The missile drop kick on Nia Jax. She falls to the floor. Your segment's over. Then backstage, it's Drew. It's Drew McIntyre. He's got the Cody shirt on again, which he's getting fined for every week.
Supposedly.
He's saying that Cody's selfish. Drew's the underdog. He's the one who had to beat AJ Styles. He's the one who had to qualify for the Elimination Chamber. He did all that by himself, and he's going to have to win things the right way to get his his next World Heavyweight Championship opportunity. But for now, Drew McIntyre is actually wrestling Cody Rhodes on Raw next week, so that should be interesting to see. We return from a commercial break. It's R-Truth. He's backstage with Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano. The problem is he thinks they're DX. He's like, wow, DX, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, thanks for coming out to save me. And, it's obviously not them. It's
More
DIY.
hilariousness from R-Truth. It never gets old.
Yes, once again, more reassurance that we have to keep R-Truth safe here, guys. Next up, it's the Elimination Chamber qualifier. It's Ivar of the Viking Raiders versus L.A. Knight.
Yeah.
And Ivar comes out. He's got Valhalla with him. You wonder if she's going to get involved. Cole is pointing out that she's not wearing the antlers. He's always pissed off she's not wearing the antlers. What is up with that?
But it's
He's
weird.
really obsessed with that.
He's got this theory that, he had the theory that she only wins when Ivar only wins when she wears the antlers, but then she wore them. Last time she wore them out, there was a loss. So
it was a
that went out
major
the window.
loss at the Royal Rumble. She came out with the antlers, and
he's just a fan of antlers.
Yeah, I guess he likes them. Yeah. Winner of this match is qualifying to enter the chamber. If Knight wins, it's going to be his first chamber appearance, and we kind of know what the finish is. Ivar, he stood a good chance. He really did. He went for the Doom Salt. He had a few big moves. LA Knight's hitting all his signature stuff. He ends up hitting that, the elbow is what I call it.
We love it.
We do. And then he tries to pick up Ivar for that, for that stalling slam that he does.
Did not happen.
Back gives out. And you're thinking, wow, is this a rib, or is LA Knight really hurt? He ends up powering through that and hitting that slam with just such force. And for Ivar, for a guy like Ivar to be able to get him up with very, very little assist, and he has that hang time with that slam, and it was really impressive to see. LA Knight is shredded. He's got to be in the gym every day. So he's going for the BFT. It gets blocked. We then have interference by Valhalla on the outside with no antlers, and puts LA Knight in the position to be hit with that Doom Salt, but he ends up rolling out of the way, misses the Doom Salt, engages that BFT. You can count to 10. Yeah, LA Knight's your winner. He's heading to the chamber.
Yeah.
Sami Zayn is getting ready for his main event match. He's backstage. He's walking towards the ring. Here's Drew McIntyre, basically like a roadblock in his way.
He's telling Sami Zayn to keep his name out of his mouth and stay out of his way, basically.
Right. He's just trying to get to his match. He's locked in. He's laser focused on Nakamura. And here's Drew trying to mess that up. So he tells him to get out of his way. He needs to get to the gorilla position. He needs to go have his match. And before that main event, we then get a segment backstage with Adam Pearce. And he's back there with Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae, the young talent. They're trying to get their spot in this last chance battle royal. In comes Chelsea Green, who is not in a good mood, because she's not in this battle royal. She wants a spot in it. Pearce is kind of hesitant, saying, hey, I got to give out opportunities to everybody else.
She's playing up her character as she has been. She's being really bratty. She's demanding things. She's acting entitled.
She wants it all. She wants a singles match, and here comes Shayna Baszler, willing to take her up on that offer. It is now main event time. It's Sami Zayn versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke's finally done with Cody Rhodes, and he's moving on to Sami now. Now, these guys, I don't remember seeing them wrestle before. If they did, I apologize, but it was pretty entertaining. You had all your signature moves. We had the footwork of Shinsuke Nakamura. We had the Blue Thunder Bombs of Sami Zayn. Everything was hitting, on all cylinders.
He went for the haluva kick.
He went for it. It did not happen. But
unfortunately, Drew McIntyre messed everything up. He came out, distracted things, and it was Shinsuke Nakamura who hit the kick that I can't pronounce.
He hits that Kinshasa, and puts Sami down. Puts Sami down for the 3. Sami loses again. Are we going to see another promo of him sitting in arena next week?
I think so. They might be setting that up with the sad guy thing for him to feud with McIntyre, and for McIntyre to come around and be like, boo-hoo.
Exactly, exactly. After the match, it's obvious Nakamura won. Not really clean, but it is what it is. They both decide, Nakamura and McIntyre, they both decide we're going to keep destroying Sami Zayn. Even though he's already lost, he's been embarrassed, they're going to keep destroying him. Out comes good guy, American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes to make the save.
Cody comes in electric, crowd at their feet, and he just starts cleaning house, He gets Drew with the Cody Cutter, and then he gets Shinsuke Nakamura with that
Crossroads, and it's lights out for Shinsuke. Show is over, folks. This is going to conclude our Monday Night Raw coverage on The Source, WWE, AEW, All Things Wrestling podcast with Joe
and
Mike. Yeah.
Let
us talk to you. Just want to say thank you guys for listening to the show and vibing out with us. We love wrestling. We want to keep this moving. We're going to end the show like I always do with a little bit of On This Day in Wrestling History. On this day in 1989, which is the year I was born, so you know it was awesome. On this day in 1989, Randy Macho Man Savage defeated the Ultimate Warrior by a countout in a rare champion versus champion match. It was actually a dark match, and it was filmed for Superstars of Wrestling in New York. On this day in 2004, Viva la Raza, Eddie Guerrero defeats Brock Lesnar in an upset victory for the WWE Championship at No Way Out. Eddie Guerrero wins that undisputed championship. No one thought he had a chance, but he came out victorious with the title. That also made him a Triple Crown and a Grand Slam champion at the same time. Later on that night, actually, Eddie's nephew Chavo Guerrero defeated Rey Mysterio for the WWE Cruiserweight Championship. And that's going to conclude our show, guys. We'd like to thank you once again for joining us. And if you're not following us, please hit that follow button. Please rate the show. It really helps a lot more than one would think. Once again, this is The Source, WWE, AEW, All Things Wrestling podcast with Joe and Mike. Let us talk to you. Yeah.